What are custom hooks in React? Custom hooks are bits of code that you can reuse, basically just like a function, only that you use other hooks inside them as well. The other thing to note about hooks is that you usually call a custom hook use followed by its purpose. In this video, we are going to make a custom hook that copies a string to the clipboard on the click of a button. So we will be calling our particular hook useCopyToClipboard. Let's get into it. Okay, now I have opened a new editor, an empty editor, and I open the terminal and navigate it to my projects directory here, or the folder above my working directory. And I want to create a new React app using create React app. We'll just type npx create React app, and the name of our app, custom hook, I'll just call it copy, and then hit enter. So custom hook copy will now be the folder with our code within it. Now that that is done, I can just take my new created folder and just move it over to VS Code. And that will open all my files, so I can start editing my code. Let's just take a look at the boilerplate code and remove something we don't need, which is this stuff right here, and the logo header. Let's just replace it with the h1 tag, just to see that everything works. Just write test. In our terminal, we will move into our newly created folder, which was named custom hook copy, and then we do npm run start to start the development server, just to see that everything works correctly. So here we see test, so now we know that everything works fine. Okay, let's begin creating our hook. We'll go into our source folder and create another folder called hooks. Inside there, we'll create the file for our hook. And we call our hook by first using the word use, and then followed by what it actually does, which is copy to clipboard. And the extension is JS. Copy to clipboard, yeah. And inside here, we'll import the hook from the useState hook from React, because we're going to use that particular hook. And here we actually need to install a dependency because we're going to use a copy function that is from a npm library instead of doing it ourselves. So let's just do that right now. Head into your terminal and just type in your project directory npm install copy to clipboard, just like that, and hit enter. That will install the dependency to your project. And that should be fine. So back to our file, let's import that copy function from copy to clipboard, just like that. And now it's available for the function we are about to create. So let's create that function now. We're gonna export it, the const, and now the name of our hook, use copy to clipboard, followed by an arrow, and then the callback function, And inside here, we're gonna set some useState values. So we'll create our array. Is copied is the state of our whether or not something is copied, and then the function to actually set that value. Set copied, and this will be, we'll use useState here, and by default this will be set to false. Then this is the first part of our hook. Now comes the second one, which is a handle copy function. It will take in a parameter of text to copy. You can call this whatever you like, just remember what it is. And then we'll use our copy function from our npm package that we installed. And we'll say text to copy and to string, because we want it as a string. And then we'll say set copied, the function in our useState hook, and we'll set that to true because we just copied something. And finally, we'll return the most important values here, which is copied. We can say whether or not something is copied in this hook, and the handle copy function. That is it. Now that we have created our hook, let's make a function, or a component rather, that can actually use that hook. Let's go into our source folder, make another folder called components, hit enter, and create a new file inside that folder called copy button.jsx, because it's a wrapped function. I'm just going to use a shortcut here to create a functional component. There's nothing special here, just a function. You can make this into a const instead of a function, and make it an arrow function instead. But this is just boilerplate. And then we will import our newly created hook. Use useCopyToClipboard. I just hit enter and it auto imports. This should be the same for you if you created the exact same folder structure. So now let's make these divs into buttons. And inside here, we'll just say copy. And we need one more thing, which is the actual hook. Right now, we're not using it. We just imported it, so we need to use it. And we use it just like any other hook. Is copied. So imagine this just being a useState function, or useState hook rather. Is copied, and the other one was handle copy. That was the function. And here, instead of useState, we say useCopyToClipboard. Parentheses and nothing in there. Just like that. And now the newly created hook useCopyToClipboard is actually available for this copy button component. So now let's just make a click handler that uses this handle copy function, callback function, handle copy, and here we'll say text to copy. Note that this text needs to come from somewhere, so we have to pass this text as props to this function. So we'll just use the structuring here, text to copy. And next we're gonna pass this text from another component to this component, so we can actually copy some text. So in our app function, let's tie everything together and make the copy text and the button to copy the text. So first, let's make 3 strings that will function as example texts. This will just say first string, and we'll make three of those example strings, and just differentiate them a little bit here. Second string, and we'll just copy this like so. And here we'll just have a bunch of numbers like so. We can remove this h1, and instead we'll have a p tag with example 1. We'll copy this and for example second, why not? Example 3, and in between here we'll import our copy button like so, and then we need to pass that text to the button like so. And then we'll do exactly the same underneath here. One thing is we need to change this name, text to copy, because that's the variable that the component is expecting. So this needs to be the same. So with this should work. And one thing before we try this in the development server, we'll just create h2 that says paste text here, and we'll make a text area tag. That's not between their text area like so, and we'll just put rows of 4 and columns of 50 like so, just to have somewhere to paste the text. So let's check that out in our browser now. So before we start our development server, let's just fix one error that I see right now, which is we're just passing the one example text. So in this case, we'll just copy the example 1 in all of the cases. So we need to pass the different texts as props in the different cases here. So we want to copy example 3 under the example 3 text, and for the same for example second. You can just change the name here, kind of bothering me right now. So example 2. So just like that, let's start up our development server with npm run start, and that should automatically send up our browser. And let's check if this works. First string, copy and then paste. First string, so far so good. Copy the second one, then we get the 2 strings, or the 4 strings I imagine, or I guess. Copy the number 1 here, and then we get the numbers. So yeah, this is how you can create your very own super simple custom React hook.